Hey there, Julia here. I love purple inks, and today we're looking at my current favorites along with some honorable mentions because I just couldn't pick 5. That's pretty impossible. So, according to my trusty pen and ink directory, I have 17 bottles of purple inks and 20 samples to choose from for this favorites list. And I feel like I've actually used most of these inks in pens, like my purple inks in general. So it was actually pretty tough picking favorites out of this category. But before we get into swatching my favorite purple inks, let's talk about some color psychology of purple. You know, we have purple rain, we have lavender haze, lots of purple in song titles and just sayings. So, what does it all mean? Let's look at some common purple associations. So, on the positive side, purple is associated with wisdom, creativity, compassion, bravery, think of the Purple Heart, and magical things. And yeah, I can totally see that. However, on the negative side of purple's color psychology, purple is associated with being immature, some sort of restriction, arrogance, and instability, which I don't know if I've ever associated purple with any of those things. But as I've said in these videos before, color psychology, not a complete science. It's just fun to think about. So with that, let's get to my number 5 pick. I'm going to give you some hints, and then you can try to guess, try to test your ink knowledge, and then I will tell you what it is. We'll do some swatching, and yeah, it'll be a good time. So my number 5 pick is a Hungarian brand, and the ink is named after things in space that are invisible but have gravity. What do you think it is? My number 5 pick is Journalize Dark Matter, and this is a part of their Starry Night collection. So when I got this, Journalize was a new brand to me. I hadn't heard of it before. And I was just pleasantly surprised at how it performed in the pen that I had it in, so much so that I inked it up in another pen. I think this was just in January. It's February now as I'm filming this. But yeah, I inked it up in another pen and I loved it in that pen as well. The color is awesome. The shimmer is gorgeous and shows up really well. It's just a really nice saturated ink. And you can see whether it's coming from a more wet pen or something that's a little more dry, it's still a very gorgeous color. And hopefully we will get some of that green and teal shimmer shining through here. You can already start to see something happening here. I'm going to be doing our writing samples with this glass dip pen. This is from Fonte. I will leave links for everything that I can down in the description. I meant to write this in print. We'll do it in print for the rest of them. So you get some script and some print. My number 4 pick is from Inkvent 2023. It's a very delicate shade of purple with an icy undertone and shimmer. My number 4 pick is Diamine Lavender Frost. And I feel like I've used this ink quite a bit, but I haven't pull the trigger on a full bottle just because I have a lot of ink and I haven't used this yet. I feel like if I use this down to like emergency levels, then maybe I would get a full bottle. But for right now, I mean, I have enough ink to do what I want to do with it. So that is that, but it doesn't take away from just how lovely this like muted lavender, it's like a gray purple, and I love a grayish purple. I feel like I did that thing again where I put a little too much ink down on the page, but are we really surprised? How gorgeous. Some interesting color shifting happening with this dip pen that I don't feel like I typically get in fountain pens. Very interesting, but it is still gorgeous. I'm actually gonna chuck it up to there maybe being some pink still on this dip pen. I don't know if you can see that there. So yeah, could be fun to mix. I might mix a lavender frost with Birmingham Pen Company tea berry ice cream because that could very well be what's on this nib down at the base. But moving on, my number 3 pick is a witchy shade. It is included in Sailor's Ink Studio set number 6. And if you know your Julia here lore, I included it in my 2024 best of currently inked. What do you think it is? If you somehow guessed Sailor Ink Studio 653, then you would be correct. I can definitely see myself getting a bottle of this once I maybe ink this up one more time. I may have enough for just one more fill, but this is a very, like, as I said earlier, witchy reddish purple. Anytime I've used it, the flow has been really great, and I'm just a fan. It's dark enough to get away with office writing, but it also is a fun one. If I remember correctly, I think it has a little bit of a sheen as well. We'll see if we get any of that in this swatch. I think it's leaning a little more magenta on camera, but is definitely more purple in person. All right, my number 2 pick is more of a traditional purple. It was featured in the Diamine Ink Vent calendar in 2023 as well, and it may be where you find a pot of gold in many tales. My number 2 pick is Diamine Rainbow's End, and it's another shimmer. It's a chameleon shimmer, and I can't remember exactly what color the shimmer shifts to. I know it's like pink. Maybe it shifts like pink to purple or pink to blue, but we'll take a gander here and see what you think. Gorgeous. Taking a quick pause. Yeah, we are getting some of that really gorgeous, like bronzy sheen with Ink Studio 653 there. Wow, I'm really liking how diverse this range of purple looks. Like I hadn't swatched these out prior to this, like next to each other, and it's really doing something for me. Definitely want to know what you think. Gorgeous. So good. And even with the shimmer, I've had this ink in fine, maybe extra fine nibs, and for whatever reason, the flow is stunning, and I have not had any issues with the shimmer being in finer nibs. Granted, whenever I put shimmer inks in pens, I don't really go ham with shaking it and making sure I get as much shimmer as possible. I usually do like a little, huh. And then I get some shimmer, but just not a shitload. Okay, let's hit it with some honorable mentions. I have 2 of them. The first honorable mention is an honorable mention simply because it's a custom mix, and I don't know, I just feel weird if I would have had it in this list because it's not really an ink. It is an ink that I love, but I don't know. So this one I've had inked up a few times. This is Tea Berry Ice Rink. I show it a lot on Instagram too. It matches a lot of pins that I have, and it was one of the first custom ink mixes that I concocted. And this is made with Birmingham Pen Company's inks Tea Berry Ice Cream, which I got as a gift, and I feel weird saying that I didn't love the color. It's like super neon pink, and yeah, I would never use it by itself. But I mixed it with Ice Rink, which is a gorgeous blue, like one of my favorite blues, and I got this super shady, like perfection of a lilac-y lavender color. I want to get the recipe down for this. I'll make sure I share it once I do revisit this and try to get it spot on if you wanted to recreate it. But that being said, I have 100 milliliters of tea berry ice cream, and I've made mixes with it, and just about every mix that I've made with it I've loved. So the ink may not be a winner on its own, but it is a champ for mixing. Oh wait, we don't want to do this. We just want to do a small little swatch. I mean, look at that. You'll get a little bit of that pink in there as well. But yeah, I'm patting myself on the shoulder on the back. I'm patting myself on the back for Tea Berry Ice Rink. My second honorable mention is very similar to this, honestly, as far as tone, like the type of purple. And I have had it inked up in a couple of pens, but I haven't loved it in any pen yet. And I just don't think that I found the right match for this ink, though I think the ink itself is gorgeous. And it is Color Versus Night of Myrtle. So this is in reference to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and that is actually where I'm from. So extra cool meaning for this ink, but it just has not found its home yet. But yeah, see, okay, this one's a little more pinky, a little more red in there maybe. And then let's hope we have enough room for our number 1. I don't know. We're gonna just try to make it work. I don't plan to spread out as much as I probably should. Okay. See, that makes me feel better. They don't look as close as I thought they would. Okay, number 1. My number 1 pick is a dark indigo that maybe leans more purple than blue, The name takes you straight to Louisiana, sipping sweet tea, overlooking the swampy landscape. What do you think it is? My number one pick is a Ferris wheel press ink. It is Bayou Berry Mist. And I feel like every time I go and ink up a set of pens, I have the hardest time, like just not inking this up in something because I just love it. It's such a nice, neutral-ish purple ink. I mean, if you're gonna say purple is a neutral, maybe this could be the one. It's very muted. I would say it is close, and this is all from memory. I think it's close to Lavender Frost, but it doesn't have shimmer, and it may just be a little more blue than Lavender Frost. Let's see. This is going to be tight with getting a writing sample in here. This also makes me want Welch's grape soda. Shout out Welch's. It's the grape soda of my childhood. Yeah, and I don't think it's as, I don't know, like flashy, as obviously purple as some of these other ones. But as I said earlier, I really love a gray purple. And so I just could not deny Bayou Berry Mist the top spot. All right, y'all, we are cramming and probably not gonna get a full writing sample here. I probably won't even fit the whole ink name in here. Oh boy. You know what? Let's just hit it on the next page. There are no rules. And you can even see in this writing the just lovely, subtle shading here. And I love a subtle shade. Okay, we're just about dry here. So here are my favorite purple inks. Number 5 was Journalized Dark Matter. Number 4, Diamine Lavender Frost. Number 3, Sailor Ink Studio 653. Number 2, Diamine Rainbow's End. We have a few honorable mentions here, and then number 1 was Ferris Wheel Press Bayou Berry Mist, which is purple, I promise, even though it looks very gray next to these other punchy purples. Let me know your thoughts here. What are your favorite purple inks? Let's get a nice list going on in the comments. I will have as many things as possible linked down in the description. I'm definitely going to recommend Atlas for these inks, not just because I have a code there, but just lovely people. Customer service is top notch. But let's travel on the other side of the color wheel to yellow, gold, usually not a favorite for most people, but trust me, I have some golden legible beauties that I think you'll enjoy. I'll leave that for you right here. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will catch you all in the next one.